All right, guys, welcome back. And I'm really excited to have Titus Bartolotta with me today. Titus, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, thanks for having me. It's really exciting. I'm honored. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Titus Bartolotta. I'm a published author. I'm a radio and podcast host. You can find Solutions from the Huddle anywhere that podcasts are available. Tune in every week for ESPN Charlotte where the radio show is on. I started a nonprofit charity about 5 years ago. We help disenfranchised and struggling families in our greater Mecklenburg County community. And then I own a few companies. Business Leaders Unleashed is a business development, kind of a networking, marketing exposure opportunity for people. And then I'm a certified business coach. So I do public speaking, workshops, and one-on-one coaching. But more than anything, I'm here with the Danny Decker talking about important stuff. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks, man. Okay, so one of the things I really appreciate about you, Titus, is I think you bring a lot of really good perspective into business owners' lives, really in any circumstances. Like, I just think you're very good at what you do. But specifically, I think this is a circumstance that calls for perspective. So talk to me about how you're kind of perceiving the situation right now, you know, in the wake of coronavirus and maybe what you're telling your clients and just kind of what's your take on this?
Yeah. So I tend to be really optimistic. You know, I try to find the good in all things. And I think this is an opportunity for us to flex that muscle, right? So as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, business owners, CEOs of major companies, I don't care if you're an employee of one or if you're managing tens of thousands of employees, this is an opportunity for you to lean into a very positive and optimistic approach. And really, to be quite honest, necessity tends to be the mother of all innovation, invention, and creativity and creation. And so when it's dark, we create a light bulb. When it's cold, we create a furnace. And in this particular ecosystem, we get to think through and create things that we might not otherwise have done. That's an opportunity. That's an opportunity that we don't always get to lean into, but we get to now. And maybe more than just creating something that's new and fresh and innovative, maybe more than our current situation forcing us to utilize technology and find creative and dynamic ways to connect with our marketplace and our staff. Maybe more than that will come out of this. And here's what I think that could be. Because if that was all that came out of this, that's enough. If all we get through this situation is an opportunity to be creative and to innovate in such a special way to where we are able to connect with our employees and our marketplace through technology, if that was all that came from it, it's a win. It's a win. But I think that what's going to come from this is an opportunity to demonstrate the caliber of our character and the tone of our leadership and our ability to show the marketplace that we care about more than profits, to show our team that we care about more than productivity. And so I'm encouraging clients to consider things like looking at your email and your phone list and picking the phone up and calling every one of your customers. Just imagine if you're a business person, a CEO, or a business of one, if you picked your phone up and you called 100 people today and your message wasn't, I want to let you know about this promotion we've got going, right? If that wasn't your message, if your message was, I'm curious if you're one of the many people that are struggling right now, and if there's maybe a way that I can serve you. Perhaps I can pick up some prescription drugs for you or a bag of groceries for you, or I can do something in some capacity because maybe you're quarantined, maybe you're stuck, maybe you're not able to serve yourself. And I was just wondering if maybe I could serve you in a way that's protective, right? That we're meeting all the guidelines. We're not crossing lines.
Yeah.
Still, what can I do to meet you where you are and serve you and not try to sell you? Could you imagine, and listen, if we're numbers and we're business people and we're smart, like I know we are, the amount of people that are impacted in our nation by this is very small in comparison. So the odds that if you calling 500 of your past clients or people in your sphere of influence, the odds of even a great portion of those people saying, yes, deliver groceries, deliver prescriptions to me, the odds of many of those people saying yes, very small. But the penetration rate for everyone to understand the caliber of your character, right? To understand the intention behind your actions and the kind of person that you are as a business corporate entity of our community, the kind of leader you are, is 100% of those people will walk away going,
I love it.
This person is incredible. And the message it sends to your staff, to your vendors, to everyone concerned
Yep.
is that people and their well-being is above profits.
Yep.
And productivity.
No, I love that. And to anybody listening to this that has not yet done that and reached out to at least their top and as many clients and customers as they can, and I would include key referral sources, key partners, that is 100% an action item that you should do like the second, like you should just stop right now.
Yeah.
And go do that right now. And then come back in a couple hours and listen to the rest of this, because Titus has more to say. And the next question that I want to ask you, Titus, because you touched on this, is for the business owners out there that are managing a team that have suddenly moved remote. And you mentioned, technology. Now we get to connect with our employees through technology. Any words of wisdom there for how to manage that transition where you're not sitting in the same office with your employees anymore?
Yeah, that's a great question. So thanks for asking. I would say that if we could go and hit the rewind button or find an unused DeLorean that we could go back in the past, if we could do that, I would say building a great culture and readiness for relationships enables you to have better phone calls, better emails, better text messages, better other digital engagements of communication. So when we have the opportunity to build the infrastructure for the less in your face and dynamic and touch and tactile, when we're able to build into that relationship on the front part, it makes all those other communications far more productive and effective. Now we can't do that. We're going to get through this. And when we get through this, I would encourage you to invest and build in that foundation so that when we ever have to get back into a place where digital is our main touch point of communication with our employees, that it's so much more impactful. However, how do we deal with it right now? If you didn't build and you didn't invest and you weren't ready for this, here's how you do it. You pretend and you invest in that camera and in that microphone as though it was that living, breathing human. I am looking into this camera eye as though I'm looking into your mind and your heart and your soul. And you have to put a little bit of theatrics into this. If you go to Broadway, if you go to any place where they're doing live productions, these people are wearing makeup so that the folks in the far back can see the expression on their face. This is not the time to show that you're happy by doing this. A slight smile doesn't do it. This is where we got to smile big. We got to use our hands. We have to understand that 70% of communication is understood, received through the act of body language. So everything has to be expressive. We have to understand the temper and the tone of our voice. We have to do things big, extreme. And the reason for that is because the people that we're talking to are losing a key element. They're losing part of that, and you've got to replace it with energy. So this is not the time to be overly soft-spoken. This is not the time to be less theatrical. We've got to make sure that the people can still feel and hear us. Many of you out there that are in sales, Danny, I know you know this, and there's probably advice you've given people. You get on the phone and you let them hear your smile. Have you ever heard that before? Right? Mm-hmm. People have to be able to hear your smile. So this isn't the first time that we've given the advice to the world that they need to see and feel and hear you through the digital communication as though they were sitting there. And that is on you, not them. It is on you to put the energy and the emphasis and the body language. And think about this for just a moment. Before we had technology like FaceTime and Zoom, Danny, all we had was the audio. And we had to give them all that energy through that mechanism without the visual. Now with things like FaceTime and Zoom, we have so much more dynamic communication ability that we did not have before. And so this is not the time for you to think that I can't be effective and I can't impact my team through technology. You absolutely can. Use the right technology, put the right energy and passion into it, and don't think you're talking to a camera. Know that you're talking to that meaningful audience member.
Love it. No, that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. So last question for you here, Titus. Going to take one additional perspective on this. So let's say you are the solopreneur, small business owner now, right? So now you're at home and your routine has been thrown off, and maybe like your kids are like coming into your office, and like your work environment is not great right now.
Yeah.
But you still got to get stuff done, right? Because we still need to be moving forward. Do you have any productivity strategies, time management for somebody to stay focused and get important tasks done in a weird, unplanned for environment?
Yeah, so absolutely. Great question. I would say for the tasks that do not require other human engagement, right? So the administrative tasks, the marketing tasks, the things that you need to do, but you're not necessarily doing it with another person. We have to understand that 24 hours is what we have. Maybe this means that we shift the time in which we go to business. The whole house is sleeping at 2 o'clock in the morning. Maybe that's the time. Maybe I'm shifting when I'm awake and when I'm sleeping. Maybe I'm selecting a different shift altogether to tackle certain tasks so that I don't have the distractions that you mentioned, such as kids and the dog and the so on and so forth. At the end of the day, you get to choose. If you're going to work from home, you get to choose with certain limitations and restrictions when you go to business. And so be really mindful of that and say, listen, if I'm going to put in 8 to 10 hours of work today, maybe I'm going to put in 4 or 5 of those hours in a time block where the house is quiet and somber and I can actually get these things done. This is a practice that I would encourage people adopt even outside of the coronavirus and the technology force that we're in right now. The other thing I would say is to be really transparent in your communication. You have to remember that the people in your home truly love you. They appreciate you and they value you. And so you need to communicate with them and say, listen, for this period of time, I need you to understand that I need to be in this room, occupying this space with a certain level of quiet and a certain level of no distraction. I'm going to tell you right now, your significant other, your friends, your family, your children even at a young age, they understand that. Do not take people for granted and do not think that their comprehension and ability to work with you and for you is smaller than what it really is. And there's different parts of the home. Don't think that you have to do it just in the home office. Maybe there's another space in the home. Maybe it's right outside. So
no, I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
I've got, just to add an example of that, when I'm working out of my home office, I have a 5-year-old, but I started doing this when he had just turned 4, right? And so I just printed out this little red phone icon. And when I was on a phone call or doing something where I couldn't be interrupted, put it on the door and had a conversation with him and made it like this fun thing. And so he'd be like, Daddy's on an important phone call. And he'd be like running around the house, like shushing everyone else.
Yes.
And it was amazing. And it was a game for him. And so I just love that. And I think that's just a great advice.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Cool.
I think we have to, in this case, we have to over communicate, not under communicate. Right. And so I think that this is true for our staff. This is true for our employees, our vendors, our partners, but it's also true for the people that are the closest to us, the people that we communicate the least to. I know you only have so much time for me and I don't want to go over, but I want to make this point if I could.
Please.
We tend to under communicate with the people closest to us in the world, right? Our family sometimes gets less of us than the rest of the world. We turn it on for the world, right? Big eyes, big smiles. We're using our hands. We're excited. We're loud. We're energetic with the world. And then we get home and we shut off. The truth is, we don't communicate with them. We tell the world, we tell our team and our staff and our vendors, this needs to get done by this time. You need to respect these boundaries. These are the rooms you can go into. These are the rooms that you can't. We even tell our customers, do me a favor. Don't press this button. Don't do this. Don't pull on that wire. We give them all these instructions. And when we don't tell the people that are closest to us, we assume and expect our family and our friends to just know what we're thinking, know what we're feeling, know what our expectations are. This is not the time to do that. Communicate with them. They want to help. They're struggling too. They're trying to figure it out as well. And when you're done giving them their marching orders and giving them the instructions that you need so that you can be successful, then you do this really cool thing that says, now what can I do to respect you, to build you up, to support you? How can I also help you in the midst of a trying time? Because humans need 3 basic things. And this works for sales, leadership, and the dynamic of your relationship between your significant other. They need to be understood, they need to be heard, and they need to be loved. And so make sure that we are communicating, listening, understanding, and loving our family and our friends right now more than we ever have before, because they are on your team, whether you believe it or not.
Love it. No, that's great. So Titus, where can people go to connect with you and learn more about what you do?
Oh, thank you. So you can go to the website. It's team, like a football team or a baseball team. So team-csg.com. You can go to collaborativesolutionsgroup.com. I challenge you to know how to spell collaborative, which is why we had to go to team-csg.com. But I'd love for you to go to the website, and you can follow me on social media at Titus Bartolotta on every social platform out there, from Facebook to Instagram. What we're doing is trying to we do this thing called Flame. We're trying to bring faith, love, appreciation, motivation, and empathy. That's the initials of Flame, so that we can light a flame, light a fire in your business, your life, your relationships. And we do it through coaching, mentorship, providing accountability to folks and helping them advance their personal development and their professional growth. And again, man, what an honor to be here with you guys. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Titus. This was great.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks so much. Take care.